Hi everyone, I'm Tanya Birch, and I'm on the Earth Outreach team with everybody here in the Earth Engine team. So before Google, I used to work at a small nonprofit called the Sri Lanka Wildlife Conservation Society, and what I was doing was researching elephant movements and how they would break through a solar-powered fence that was keeping them out of this area where they would crop raid rice paddies. I was doing basic field data collection with the technology that was available in 2003. And I would go out and take a GPS device, waypoints, pencil and paper, and walk around this fence line and document where the elephants were breaking through. It was pretty rudimentary. It was rugged. If I dropped my GPS device, that was it. Tutti caputi, the end. Same thing with pencil and paper. If I dropped that, that was the end of a whole day's work. So in the evening, I would go back and transcribe all of my data, and I would take the GPS tracks and upload it onto ArcGIS, and then take the waypoints and put it onto Garmin TrackMaker, onto satellite imagery. So it was a lot more painful then in 2003 than it is today. And my sessions, I have 3 sessions today that are going to talk about field data collection nowadays using open source tools and Google mapping tools. So Google Earth launched in 2005, in August 2005. And I really could have used that technology. It would have made it a lot easier. So a lot of my focus here at Google is, making these field data collection process easier with our mapping technology. And it's come a long way. The Android ecosystem has completely boomed. Now the process to go ahead and collect data on the ground and upload it to the cloud and map the data doesn't require any programming, doesn't require expensive software licenses, doesn't require extensive training beyond the basic training that we're going to do today. So one example of, there's a bunch of examples of partners of ours that have used this on the ground. And one great example is the Surrey Forest Carbon Project, which Rebecca spoke about a little bit in her opening. The Surrey indigenous tribe has now selling carbon credits on the open credit marketplace, and they've verified the amount of carbon in their forest using Open Data Kit. So they go into the forest, they designate a forest plot, and they measure the diameter of breast height at the trees, and then they use allometric equations and fusion tables to bring that data and quantify it, and then sell it on the open carbon credit marketplace. So this is an example of their map where they've put the data that they've collected of their forest plots in the field alongside other geospatial data sets that they have, just designating the regions. Another great example, and I'll just give you a quick little teaser because you're going to hear a lot more about it from Dr. Lillian Pintea from the Jane Goodall Institute, is their work in Tanzania, where they've trained over 150 forest monitors now to go into the forest and collect data on the state of the habitat for chimpanzees, the forest, the amount of intact forest and damaged forest for chimpanzee habitat conservation. That's going to be a very exciting talk. So what is the flow? You can create forms with one of 2 tools. They're both free and open source. There's Open Data Kit Build. There's an easy user interface to create forms for very, very simple forms with text and images and groups. And then if you want to do more complex forms with cascading questions or nested questions or repeats, that kind of thing, you can use a tool called XLS Forms. And then you go out into the field, you get your form onto your device, and you collect data with a tool called Open Data Kit Collect. I'm mentioning Open Data Kit a lot. It's a tool that was developed by the University of Washington, and we've been in close collaboration with them over the years. It's like a social innovation lab inside University of Washington. And then once you've collected your data, you submit it to Google Maps Engine and Google Earth Engine. A lot of the stuff that Thao talked about earlier is remote sensing stuff that needs to be ground truthed. So this is a really good way to take your data and ground truth it. And you'll hear a little bit more about that from Carlos Souza. And then you can publish maps. So this is a quick snapshot of how you create forms, either with ODK Build or XLS forms. As I said, KCollect, it's a free download from Google Play. You can also download it from their website. It supports way old versions of, of the Android build and also the current build. And there's a lot of flexibility into form design. You can have images or video inside forms, single select, multiple select, pre-populated lists, that kind of thing. Android is supported in, I think it's 42 languages. And so if you translate your form, you can translate it into any one of those languages, set the menu settings on your Android phone, and have your form appear in that language. So it's very flexible. Data storage options, there's sort of 4 main storage options. The first one, Maps Engine, we'll cover today in the, Brian and I will cover that in the 101, the basics class, because it's a very, very simple way to quickly map your field data. ODK Aggregate and Form Hub we'll talk about in the 201 course. That's if you want to use another online server. These are both also open source to host your data, export your data, do some quick visualizations on your data. And then for folks who are not scared of setting up your own server to host your data, that is also an option. You can have your data stored on a local server so you can control it from beginning to end. Right now, for the purposes of our basics course, we're going to talk about storing your data in Google Maps Engine. So everybody here has had an intro of Maps Engine. We'll be collecting data and then sending it directly to Maps Engine. ODK Aggregate, like I said, is if you want to export as other data formats, you want to sync to spreadsheets, sync to Fusion tables, Maps Engine as well. It's sort of like a traffic cop between your field data and your end data, where you want to analyze the data. And then we're also going to cover Google My Maps on Android. So the folks who were in Raleigh's My Maps session yesterday will go a little more into getting your field data on your phone. So if you're in an environment where you have cell connectivity, you can be collecting field data and then send it directly to your phone and see the results right on your map in real time live. The near real-time effect is if you go back into, as soon as you get into a Wi-Fi area and update your data, you can see your map live then. Thank you.